Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Viewers, today Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey have signed Makkah Joint Defense Agreement. It is a historic event and it is a landmark initiative. And there are four questions for which everybody wants the answer. Number one, what is this agreement? Number two, why it is important? Number three, what it will have an impact on the region and beyond? Number four, what would be the reaction of USA and China? China and US is important because both are the global powers. Let's start with the first question. This agreement specifically talk about a deterrence against any aggression. So if there would be any aggression on any country among these three countries, Pakistan, Turkey, or Saudi Arabia, will be considered an attack on all three countries. That is a huge, and I think that will be the defining initiative. Number two, why it is important. It is important because the region, especially the Middle East, is in the crisis. There are different types of the wars or the conflicts are going on. On the one side, the Gaza and genocide is going on, and Israel is committing that genocide with impunity with the support of the USA and the Western countries. On the other side, recently, Israel and USA have attacked Iran, and there is all the possibility that that war can expand to the region because Iran is also targeting the US bases in the different regional countries on the pretext that so they are being used by the USA, that's why they are attacking. So therefore there is the potential the war can expand to the region. If the war expand to the region, that means there will be a huge blow to the global energy market because many countries depend on the energy from the region. Therefore, this agreement is very important. And what it will have impact? I think the first of all, this agreement will provide the security of the three countries, especially to the Saudi Arabia, because the Saudi Arabia at this point of the time is facing different type of the problems. On the one side, the Houthis are attacking Saudi Arabia, and they are especially targeting the oil installation in Saudi Arabia. On the other side, Israel also targeting Saudi Arabia, and they're declaring the Saudi Arabia is a big constraint and a big hurdle in their future or for their future agenda. On the other hand, Iran is also saying like that there are the USA bases so they can attack the Saudi Arabia. And if we look at the global context, so when many Western countries also target Saudi Arabia, why? Because Saudi Arabia is the center of the Muslim Ummah. The two holy mosques are in the Saudi Arabia, and every Muslim want to visit those mosques, and they want the peace in the Saudi Arabia. On the other context, if we look, the Pakistan is the neighbor to two hostile neighbors. On the one side is India, on the other side is Afghanistan. And if you look at Turkey, Turkey is the prime target for the Israel and the Western countries. Even the Donald Trump has refused, rather you can say the betrays Turkey after promising to give the F-35, and they have betrayed Turkey. And other Western countries also want to undermine Turkey. And if you look at the Greece is posing a serious threat to the peace in the region in collaboration with the Israel. So therefore this agreement is very important. If these three countries are working together, definitely no, they will be working together. It will be a big check in the way of the conflict or other aggression from any other country, because the three countries are very strong. If one country have the money, other country have the technology, and the third country have the atomic nuclear power, has the nuclear power. So these three countries come together and they have strong armies. When they will pool their resources, so they can deter any aggression. So that is a very important. No, there is a last question which also needs answer. What would be the reaction of USA and China? If you look at the USA reaction will be determined by the reaction of the Israel, because everybody know that Israel control US policy, not only in the region but beyond also. Even sometimes it seems like that Netanyahu dictate to the President Trump what to do and what not to do. So if we will look at the reaction of the USA, that will be basically defined by the attitude of the Israel. And that is clear. Israel wants the war. They will oppose this alliance or this partnership, and they will try to do everything to create problem for these three countries. And for example, they can also instigate the sectarian divide in the sectarian violence in these countries. They can use the different sects of the Muslims against each other, and they portray like that one alliance is against another sect. So they can instigate the violence among the different sects of the Islam. They can also propagate or conspire against some countries to launch the attack or in the context of anything. Like that, one country is doing the terrorism in another country, and the third, Israel is also trying to use India as a proxy to create the problem, not only for the regional country but beyond the region. And India is using the Afghanistan as the proxy. So there are also dangers. So, but the USA reaction, I don't think so. USA will have any independent reaction. It will be determined by the Israel. So, lastly, and the most importantly, what would be the reaction of China? China definitely want a peaceful region. Not only region, but China wants the peace everywhere. So China negate any notion of the conflict, of the wars or the hot wars. China does not like that. China say no, we should live peacefully and work toward the development of humanity and the prosperity of the humanity. So this agreement and when these countries come together, it will bring the peace and stability in the region. As the three countries look at that agreement, it will bring the peace and stability in the region, and that's what China also wants. Therefore, it is considered that China will like this initiative and try to contribute to strengthen this initiative. Moreover, China have very deep economic investment and energy linkages and interest in the region. For example, around about 54% energy source from their imported oil is coming from the Middle Eastern and the Gulf region for China. And if we look at that, the investment in 2025, China has invested almost 39 billion US dollar under the BRI in the Middle East and the Gulf region. So China is already investing there. China have their investment interest, and China have their trade interest. China have their energy interest. So China definitely wants this region to be the peaceful. So if this agreement is bringing, definitely this agreement, Makkah Joint Defense Agreement, will bring the peace and stability in the region. Therefore, there's a strong possibility China will be supporting this initiative. And as I mentioned already, so China loves peace and stability. And China wants to create the economic opportunity, and economic opportunities are being created when there is a peace and the stability. So there's a strong possibility China will like that. These are the initial thoughts, because right now we don't have the full agreement with us. So for till that moment, we can look at these dimensions. But after this, when we have the whole document with us, we will do a detailed video on that. Thank you so much.